gathering stars. It was a very long trip, and night fell, and it was very cold by the time they reached the council place. Alas, the campfires were all full, with the lodges of their friends already crowded with their own families. They were so crowded that the teepees were about to burst. There was no room for them anywhere. The young brave knew that his young squaw must rest, and they must find her a place to rest. Finally, he discovered a very tall pine tree near the camp, and beneath its friendly branches were some old poles which had been once used for the teepee. These poles, along with some branches and bark on the ground, were used to make a shelter for the cold. Here, the weary, tired squaw rested quietly. As they settled in, the tribe's horses stood guard all around them as they nibbled in the soft grass in the forest. This night, the sky was radiant as the stars blazed overhead, brighter than ever before, and the baby boy was born. He was wrapped in a soft deerskin and laid on a bed of evergreen boughs and moss. Far out in the woods, the hunters of the tribe were hunting for meat for the next day. And as their moccasins crunched in the cold snow, they began to hear another sound. It was drums beating and chanting and music, and it was beautiful music, such as they had never heard before. It seemed to come from just above the top of the trees. Suddenly, as they paused to listen, a great light appeared before them, right in the trail. Then a heavenly brave, who we think was probably a scout, wearing glistening white buckskin like they had never seen before, suddenly appeared before their very eyes. His wings were larger than any eagle's wings they had ever seen, and they seemed to stretch to the top of the trees. He stretched out his arms to speak to them. Although the hunters were very brave and feared no man or beast, they looked away from the strange light because it was very bright, and their brave hearts were starting to beat very, very fast. The voice of the messenger was mighty, and his great voice echoed and rolled like thunder through the forest. He said, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news. In this night, the Great Spirit, the Great Creator, has sent His Son to be born on this earth and to live with you. He comes to bring you peace and to you and all people. He will teach you a better way of life and show you the great Father's love. He lies just born in the forest nearby. You will recognize him, for he is wrapped in soft deerskin." Just then he vanished. The brightness dimmed on the trail, but all of a sudden the whole sky was alight with heavenly scouts whose voices rang out with the liveliest music ever heard. It shook the hearts of the hunters, knowing that these scouts sang praise to the Great Spirit and told of His great love for mankind. The hunters stood there with their arms outstretched, gazing up into the sky, eager to hear more of the wonderful songs. They forgot all about the bitter cold until the very last echo of music was heard before. As they looked again at the sky, it was now a velvety curtain of many twinkling stars, quiet, vast, and serene. The youngest hunter turned to his companion, saying, "Let us go and find the son of the Great Spirit, so that we can see this wonderful thing that has just happened." So all of them, in one mind, decided to return to the camp. In the camp, true as the messenger had said, beneath a very tall pine tree, in a crude bark shelter, was the most beautiful papoose ever born. Laid in a cradle of evergreen boughs and moss, wrapped in the soft skin. As the youngest hunter looked at the young papoose, he shivered at the thought of the cold, and he laid upon the child his softest wolf skin. The squaw smiled now and thought that her child would be warm and comfortable as he slept. In another part of the forest, many moons later, some hunters met several chiefs of neighboring tribes. They were bearing gifts. The hunters took them to their chief. Around the council fire, they told a strange story. They had heard the voice of the Great Spirit. It told them that a papoose was to be born who would someday rule the whole world. A child whose name was Wonderful, Counselor, Prince of Peace, the greatest chief of all. And that they had been following the star for many times. Now it hung over the forest. But there were many Indian babies living in the village. How could they tell which one was the son of the Great Spirit? Once again it was dark, and a brilliant star began to shine brighter than all the others. It led them on until it stopped over an Indian teepee and shed its light all around. There outside the little teepee near the fire, as quietly and as reverently as they could be, sat some buffalo, a wolf, a mountain lion, and a bear, and in their own way giving thanks and praise to their almighty Creator. The chiefs looked within and saw the squaw and the child, and as they gazed on the child, they knelt and worshipped before the little papoose, the greatest chief of all. The first chief unpacked his treasure and placed fine beaver skins at the feet of the little child. The second chief gave long strings of wampum, and the third chief laid an eagle's feather at the feet of the child. The squaw's eyes shone brightly, but she said not a word about the recognition of her son. She would always remember these unusual things which happened when her son was born, and when he was growing up, she would be sure to tell him. I'm going to pray a blessing for you, and then I'll let you go back to your seats. May the Great Spirit watch over you as you travel over the mountains, cross the rivers, and go through the valleys. May the Great Spirit bring you back to your friends and your loved ones. May He give you long days of life upon this earth, and may you always love and honor Him for all He's done for you. Thank you, children.